you know who gets the closest to that? Children.
Oh, well, yes.
Children are so closest to that because the world hasn't tainted their views yet, right? In the
Yes.
sense where
Yes.
you're looking at the vulnerability and the innocence of a child. In reality, you're looking at the true authenticity of who that child was created to be. But by the
Yeah.
time they get to a certain age, it's amazing how the world has placed upon them all these different veils and all these different weights,
Yes.
and then you lose your way. You lose your way. And
Yes.
I think that's what have happened with Earth. Earth
Yes.
has lost its way,
Yes.
literally.
Yes, yes. When we talk about this at Tribe of Wolves, I call them, it's like your armor, right?
Mm,
You are born this perfect, delicious little ball of light, right? And you are, I would say up until 4 or 5 years old, probably until you go to school, you're like,
hmm.
you're free, you're climbing trees, you're
Yeah.
digging in the dirt, you're laughing when you want to laugh, you're jumping on furniture. Why don't we jump on furniture anymore? Like, why
I have
don't
no
we,
idea.
right? When was the last time you climbed a tree? Like, these are things that are, would still light us up, but society has told us to sit down, be quiet, and in my house, children should be seen and not heard.
Mhm.
It's the world becomes very small very quickly, and you begin to move through the world through these veils, as you call them, and
Mhm.
your light starts to dim, and
Mhm.
you're no longer following that path of desire, and you get to a point in your life.
Yeah, yeah. So in actuality, what path are you following? Right?
Exactly. Whose path
Yeah,
are you following,
you're
right?
lost. You're lost.
You're lost. You're
The,
lost.
the the sad thing about that, but once a person is lost, it's a loss to the world. Can you imagine if
Yes.
Einstein was lost?
Yes.
If a
I mean,
Gandhi was lost, a Martin Luther King was lost, what would have happened?
I don't know.
Find your
Everything.
light. Find your light.
Find your light, and that light exists. It's in you, it is always in you. You just need to slow down and pay attention and tap in and like generate awareness, and then once you
Mhm.
start to peel back the layers and let that light shine, that's when we start to move through the world and ignite the people around us, right? And create the change and say hi to our neighbors and put
Yeah.
our freaking phone down at the checkout counter and engage with the person checking you out. Ask them how their day is. It's like,
And look at this, Natalie. I mean, like by me just having this conversation with you, I mean, how would I have known if I didn't talk to you, connect with you, and have
right,
this engaging conversation? I would have never known about the tribe of wolves who that's there
right,
to help women find, their power from within. I would have never known that if I had stayed fearful of connecting with new people and meeting new people.
yes,
How would the world know? So
right.
it's important for us to stay open. I always say this: stay open to learn more, to learn about others,
Yeah.
because we're interesting human beings. We really are. It's
Yes.
just a matter we have to give each other a chance. And I think that is
Oh,
being robbed from us. It's being literally robbed from us to not be able to hear your story
yeah.
and hear how you're making an impact to someone that was looking for someone just like you, because everyone else, they might have felt that sense of I feel like a wolf, or I feel like I need to find myself again, but I just can't figure it out. And then here you are, you're sharing the different terminologies and the idea of what it feels like to be free in this in the mindset of who that person needs to be. And that person said, you know what, Natalie gets me.
Yeah. Well,
Natalie gets me.
I do
And it's
see, I mean,
how would we do that? How can we do that if we don't communicate?
it's so true. And I think, I did this work kind of on my own for the first couple years, but what I know for sure, Carla, is that when you do this work in community, right? Like the conversation we're
Oh
having
yeah.
right now, right? Like that's where the magic happens, right?
Hmm.
We need to see each other. I need to see you, you need to see me. I learn
Yes.
from you, you learn from me. And if we're on the same path together and trying to unleash, sit in our power, unleash our light, create change in the world, when we're doing it together, it's even
Yes.
more powerful.
It is. It is.
It's even
It's a matter, but who benefits the next generation?
Yeah, the world, the universe, right? I mean, if more people are doing this work, it is inevitable that we will create the shift we want to see.
Yeah. The Have you ever heard of the butterfly effect?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes.
Without it, right? To have that ripple effect.
Exactly.
And the work that you're doing, the work that I'm doing, and that's the thing, is to other people may look like work, but to us this is what it ought to be,
Oh,
to
yeah.
be able to be free. This is
Exactly.
freedom for me to be able to do this and share something that I've had in my heart for years, to be
And,
able
and
to,
oh,
you know what I
and you're
mean?
lighting people up. You're lighting up the people around you just by following that desire, right? Just by
Exactly.
following what's true to you, you're like you're like a little love bomb. You're setting off little love bombs around you. It's like pachoo, pachoo, pachoo. So good.
And it's important because when we were growing up, just as you mentioned, right? The world has a way of placing the weight. It's like falling at the bottom of the ocean. As you get deeper into the ocean, the weight is stronger. But what is going to bring you back up?
Yeah.
It's going to be, like you say, those love bombs, those inspirational journeys, those stories, those messages. Being in a community that helps support you as you may need to lean on someone. We all need someone, and that's the beautiful thing
Yeah.
about it, is that makes the world go round. I mean, if we didn't need anyone, we'd be all be on islands. But to be
Exactly.
able to just know that these type of communication and connections can happen if we give each other a chance. And that's what's beautiful. That's the message that I'm getting from here, is to open so that you can find what's great about you from the inside, and then be able to bring it out and exude it out, exuding that power, exuding, that you're open to receive. Because like you said, right, you have to be open to receive.
Exactly. Exactly. You hit the nail on the head.
So share some tips that a person who's listening to you, to start this process. First of all, if they needed to connect with you, how would they connect with you?
Oh, yeah. So we have a website. It's tribeofwolves.co. So that's the easiest way to connect with me. You can get on my email list. I have a free wild guide there if you want to just dive into the teachings of the feminine. That's a great place to start. And then if I were to give women one tip today to get started, I would tell women to start paying attention in their day to what feels good and what doesn't feel good. So as you wake up in the morning, you have your hot cup of coffee or tea. Okay, this feels good. I'm loving my cup of coffee. I'm loving my cup of coffee. Maybe you meet up with a friend who always kind of makes you feel bad. And you're like, oh, wait, I'm not feeling good. To start paying attention to how things make you feel. And from there, you can start to do more of the things that feel good and less of
Mhm.
the things that feel bad. I mean, that is
Yeah,
like a simple approach, I would say, for women to start. Just
yes.
start paying attention to the things that feel good and do more of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, and I mean, that's great because, as you mentioned, we're especially with the achievers, the overachievers, the accomplishers, the
Yeah.
high performers, all of those great words, yes. but it keeps you in the space of doing, where you don't take some time to reflect or observe, or just to really learn the lessons from the wherever whatever you needed to learn. You're so focused on finishing and getting to the end that you actually lose the opportunities of the journey. You
Where's the
lose
juice?
that. So
Yeah. Where's the juice
yeah,
of your day? If you're always like crossing
to
things
the
off
end.
your to-do list
Yeah,
until you pass out at 11 o'clock at night, like, is that living?
yeah. It's not. It's
It's
not.
not.
It's time to be. It's time to be, right? It's time to be
Yeah,
instead of time to do. I think we spend so many times doing, but I always say we always need a to don't list. We
exactly.
focus so
Oh, I
much on the
love
to
that.
do list.
I love that.
So the to don't list gets you to the space of to be list. And then in the
Yes.
being, you sit in that. That's when you find out who you really are. Because you have to be in that space. Knowing what I'm saying, now you can't do it for me. I can't do it for you. You have to sit
No,
with yourself. And that's the hardest thing for people to do, is to sit.
it is.
Like I gotta sit with
Yes.
myself and say, oh, I didn't like how I talked to this person yesterday. I didn't like how I didn't, do this part. I didn't like how slow. I mean, we don't like to sit and acknowledge the pluses and minus of what it is that we do every day so that we can learn from it. Because I
Exactly.
don't think we can become until we learn.
Yes.
Somehow we're expecting to be, we can, right? I mean, we can meet people that are 77 years old and meet an 18-year-old, and the 18-year-old is wiser than a 77-year-old because of the 18 may have taken the time to
Yes.
reflect upon what they're learning and adjusting and adapting and pivoting and doing all the great things so that they can become better. But a 77-year-old might be doing the same silly stuff that they were doing in high school at
Yes.
77.
Yes.
It's amazing. So
I know.
now I'm really loving what you shared, and I mean, thank you so much. Any
Thank
last advice? You're welcome. Think any last advice that you would share with those who are looking to bring out this power within them and share with the world.
I would just say you don't need to do anything. Like, it is innate within you. You can stop the search. All you need to do is pause, do less, and start listening to what's happening inside your body. You have everything you need right now, in this instant, in this moment, to create the life that you desire. Hands down,
Beautiful.
100%.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I've really enjoyed our conversation, Carla.
I know I have to, but it is so amazing what, when you're in alignment with how people think, right? It's amazing how time flies.
I know.
And but it really shows the world needs more of you. And it needs more of you and more of this type of conversation that happens so that we can all sit and listen to ourselves and make the right moves for our future and the next generation. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you. Thank you so much. And let's talk again soon.
Yes. Well, everyone, as you've noticed, Natalie brought us some great perspective when it comes to not sitting on your greatness, not sitting in your shadow, but really taking the courage, the energy. Yes, it takes energy to move into the race of standing next to what it is that you're supposed to do, ought to do, and should be. Not only for yourself, but for the next generation. Will you look at yourself, your situation, and see how you can become better? Better for you, better for all. But most importantly, better for what's inside. Until then, I look forward to seeing you. Thank you for joining your inspired journey.